Alright, what is going on, my dude? So I got this Daredevil hat. It's a beanie, and you can reverse it. And on the other side, there's a little Daredevil logo. I mean, a little Punisher logo. So I figured, why don't we do this one today, alright? Just for the theme. But yeah, man, so Punisher 2099, he got his little buff. He got his little tune-up with his numbers, alright? And of course, people have been talking about it for a very, very long time. Let's fix that light balance real quick. For a very, very long time, all the videos I post, they comment, do you know anything about Punisher? Blah, 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 blah. I didn't know until like last week. And today was the first time I got to actually play with him. And you know, he's better. He's definitely better. There's a lot of things he can do, and this is the best thing he could do, in my opinion. And we're going to be showcasing a lot of this today. As you can see, we're hitting Psylocke a lot here. We skipped Invisible Woman because she's got the bubble, she's got the shield, and it's just, I want to get right into like an actual fight against a real opponent here where we don't have to have any external things to worry about. So look at this. We are now 33 hits in, and she's about halfway to a bar of power. That's kind of insane, man. We're at 6.4.2. The node really doesn't matter here because we just killed a 250k health pool before she even got to a special 1. That's not too bad, okay? Now, is Punisher the next Corvus, the next Ghost? Is he the tech Corvus? No, he's not. Am I going to be ranking up mine? No, I'm not. Can he be useful for you? I think he could. Now, so basically, I have a couple of synergies here. Mine's awakened, or my 5 stars awakened, so I can, you know, start the fight with 25 more battery percentage there. And I also brought along the Captain America Infinity War synergy, and that basically lets you get to overdrive mode, which is that little orange icon up there, in about 10 seconds at the start of the fight. Now, when you throw a special 2, you get a pretty beefy armor break, and as you can see, you start hitting kind of hard, man, and those heavy attacks are hitting for like 17k with 1 armor break. Now you can stack the armor breaks, but it's not the most practical playstyle to be able to get to 2 special 2s and actually have the attack bonus from the overdrive left over. So you really, you know, that's not the biggest thing to aim for. I feel like this is what I've personally found to be the most effective playstyle to play with Punisher 2099, and that is take advantage of that overdrive at the beginning of the fight. You're gonna have increased attack, you're gonna have the decreased defensive combat rate, power rate. Yeah, it's pretty useful, man. Like, it's, you know, his utility, it's still not really there for me. The power control, the potential power control is nice. He also has a way to, if they get to 3 bars of power, you know, to use a certain percentage of his battery to power drain them a little bit and then power lock them before they get to special 3. Yeah, and now with the heavy attack, you get the stun for 1.5 seconds. It takes only 10 battery, and yeah, overall, man, I'd say he's definitely quite improved. His attack values are much higher than they were. The overdrive definitely does make him hit pretty hard, man. I mean, here's the thing, we're getting through these fights after we get the armor break up before they even get to a special 1. Not this time because I hit She-Hulk a couple times, but also, you know how to bait specials, right? Like, you're gonna be able to bait out 1 special attack in a fight without, you know, worrying about it too much. So I feel like, I'm trying to think, like, is this going to be useful in Alliance War? Or Alliance Quest? Well, maybe, man. I mean, the health pools in, like, Alliance War are, like, around 150k or so. And these guys are, like, almost double that. So if you can get through an Alliance War fight on, like, an easier lane before they even get to a special 1, that's not the worst thing in the world, man. It's really not. Like, the more I think about it, the more useful it does become, this power control mechanic. Here I was just trying to wait until my battery got higher, but then I decided, let me see if I can enter this way. Here we're going to see that little power lock mechanic when she got to 3 bars of power. You know, it just drained her power a bit and then power locked her. Here we just had her chain stunned from the left side of the field all the way to the right side of the field, and then killed her with the special 1. So that was a really cool kill, man. This node, by the way, what it does is it If they use a special attack, you know, drains our power, they use 10 special attacks, we die pretty much, alright? And here I wanted to showcase one other thing he can do. If, you know, they proc a regeneration buff, we could spend 20% of our battery to heal block them. That's really nice, man, because there are a lot of champions who just have those healing buffs, and to just block that, that's nice. It puts a nice little end to like those Iron Man fights, you know? If you have like an Iron Man in Arena, go without Punisher 2099. But this sort of utility is also very useful in other places. So for example, we're going to jump to 6.3.6, and this is the, what do you call the node here? Static Blast and Special Chaos Inversion, the one where the special attacks you have to dex the opposite way, only during the special. Now, I don't know about you guys, man, but like that stuff confuses my brain. And when I was doing my Legends run, I got here like 10 hours in, and I used so many revives on this path, my brain was fried, dude. Absolutely fried. And it would have been great if I had some sort of utility like this where I didn't even have to worry about baiting any specials because they never even got to a special 1. So now we're tossing off that special 2. Kamala Khan's almost at about half a bar of power, and we're 31 hits in. We still have 40% left on our battery for our overdrive. So yeah, we're hitting pretty hard here. You know, we're trying to do some of those backdraft intercepts, man, but you know, sometimes they just don't go for that, so I'm kind of resorting to doing a lot of parries here, and unfortunately, you know, some of the block damage, it's kind of hefty in 6.3 and 6.4 still, even after the little nerf there, you know, it's still kind of hefty. At this point, she did reach 1 bar of power, but she's almost dead. This Kamala had like 300k health or so, something like that, but yeah, this is not the worst showing in the world at all. I could have went for like those heavy stunts here to avoid that special, but I didn't think of it at the time. This was actually one of the first fights I did with Punisher when I was testing him out, so I didn't have the nuances down yet. But yeah, I mean, we lost a bunch of health in that fight, but he still got through it without having to really worry about the node. We're going to jump over to Variant 4 for a second. I feel like we've never made any content on Variant 4. That's alright, but we have this type of node here called Feats of Power. And there's a lot of nodes like this style in this game, where it's like when they get to 1 bar of power, they have this. When they get to 2 bars of power, they have this. When they get to 3 bars of power, you're probably going to die. And we have nodes like, oh, they use special attacks in order of special attack 1, special attack 2, special attack 3. Well, this is like a prime example of where this utility would come in handy, because she's never going to get to special 1 and get that fury when we're using Punisher 2099. And Variant 4, all the variants really, they have a very normal sized health pool. And you know, this Domino has about 120k health, and this is about what we would see from like what do you call it, like Alliance War and Alliance Quest health pool. So this is pretty much what you can expect from Alliance War health pools. Now, I don't know if Domino was, you know, crit failing my power control there or whatnot, the combat rate, and that's why she got to a special 1, or maybe I started hitting her too fast. But if I pretty much did this entire lane just like this, and yeah, man, we lost some crit fail damage, but for the most part, Punisher got through this entire lane really, really well. I'll show you one more fight here. We'll show you this King Groot, which is at the end of the path here, and I think it's the same nodes with the Feats of Power, where he gets above 1 bar of power, he gets a Fury, he gets, yeah, I think I was hitting them. I was hitting them at first. I wasn't waiting here. He gets above 2 bars of power, gets a Cruelty, yeah, and here, you know, he has that regeneration buff, and we just completely blocked it. So Punisher 2099 is actually a pretty decent King Groot counter. Not that King Groot really needs a counter, but it just kind of has something in the bank for everything that that he needs to counter King Groot. That heal block is really, really nice, man. And yeah, we got through this fight before the overdrive battery even ran out, so that's really dope, man. And when I think about like, all right, so 150k seems to be like the perfect health pool for like Punisher 2099 fights. So I thought like, all right, so I feel like Punisher 2099 is going to be really good for like progressing players who aren't like towards the latter end of Act 6 going into Act 7 yet. So I said, let me go to 6.2.6 and let me do that line down towards the champion and see how Punisher does against all those fights. All right, now this here's the thing, man. A lot of things that progressing players struggle with is like baiting specials and like memorizing the specials and knowing how to dex everything. You don't really have to worry about that. Like, you don't have to worry about the timing of like Stark Spidey's special 2 here if he never even gets to his special 1, really, you know? So we're gonna check that out here. We also have that stun. The stun is a really great way to end the fights, man, especially with health pools around this size. But up next, we're gonna show you we have a Hyperion here. Now with Hyperion, you know, he has that power gain buff, and with the power gain buffs, that's not really controlled by Punisher, okay? Because he only does the defensive combat power rate, and that's when you get hit, not from like power gain buffs. So as you can see, we're just hitting him right away because we do want to push him to a special 1, just start the fight going. And you know, I feel like in a normal fight, you do just want to start attacking right away because you want to build to a special 2 as fast as you can. But I really wanted to emphasize like the power control potential that he has with the overdrive. So that's why for the most part in this video, I did wait to start hitting for the first 9 seconds or so. But yeah, man, at this point we have that overdrive going. We got the armor break. He's not getting any power when we hit him, only from the power gain buffs. So this guy is basically turned into like Doctor Strange on defense, okay? So it's a lot less intimidating to fight a Hyperion without like a power control champion when you use a champion who like completely nukes their defensive power rate. So yeah, man, we got through this Hyperion in 50 hits or so. That's not too bad. Now this isn't the hardest Hyperion in the entire game. However, at the same time, it's still 6.2 content. It's, you know, not top stuff, but it's up there for sure. Now, I realized at the end of when I was like editing this video, I was like, I could have brought in the Nick Fury synergy to get rid of the cold snap right away. That would have been so cool because he has the Nick Fury has the synergy with Punisher 2099. However, I didn't do that, and we just ate some cold snap damage, but that's fine. Not the biggest deal in the world at all. One thing I don't think I talked about yet, I don't think I talked about the other synergies that I brought with me. I brought along Dr. Doom. That just gives me like plus 5% perfect block chance. Not the biggest deal in the world there, don't need that. But I brought along Red Skull. That's the important one, okay? What Red Skull does is basically, it does a couple things, but the important thing is that it extends the length of the armor break debuff. So it's going to be there for like pretty much the entire time you're in overdrive and more, okay? So that's the big synergy for Punisher 2099. The Red Skull one's very, very important. Captain America Infinity War, that one lets you start with more battery, very, very good to have. And Thor, it just replenishes your battery from the first time that you use it for something, so that's also nice to have, but definitely not needed at all. And yeah, I think those are all the synergies that I brought with me. There's one also very good synergy to have, and that's with the OG Punisher. Now, I don't have OG Punisher as a 5-star or a 6-star. He's not available as a 6-star yet, but I don't have him as a 5-star, so I couldn't bring him into Act 6 to test. But basically, what that synergy does is it lets you start with almost 1 full bar of power, so it lets you get to a special 2 that much faster. So that's definitely a nice synergy to have if you are very committed to Punisher 2099. Now, here's the thing with Punisher 2099. I feel like people aren't going to be running to rank this guy up to rank 5 or rank 2. However, he is a pretty decent defender, and I feel like a lot of people already have him ranked up a bit, you know, to rank 5 or just to rank 2 for defense. So if you're one of those people who have Punisher 2099 up at rank 5 or rank 2 for defense, well, congratulations, man. Your defender just got a lot better on offense, and you're going to be able to use him in very niche situations. Now, up next, we have a Magic here. Now, this is a pretty stacked Magic because she has 100% increased defensive power rate. So when we have our minus 90% decreased defensive power rate from the overdrive, this is basically going to turn this into about 10% increased power gain for her. So it's going to look very normal. I did wait for the full overdrive to start here, and as you can see, when we hit her, it kind of looks like we're hitting like a normal champion almost, okay? But basically it's going to be doing a little bit more power than normal, but she would already pretty much be at around a special 2 now if we didn't have the overdrive. So if we started this fight at 100% health, I think we would have gotten through it. I probably should have potioned up before this, but I was just trying to move through this lane just to see how far we can get. There's a void up next, and I'm running suicide, so I definitely wouldn't be able to. One other piece of utility I forgot to mention is that when you drop below 15% health, you get a pretty beefy regeneration buff, which is nice, which which does take up a bit of your battery, but you know, healing is always nice. It's always very important to have. But yeah, dude, so this is the new Punisher 2099 buff. It's less of like a buff rework like Magneto. Obviously nowhere near as good as like Red Magneto. I'd say personally, I do think he's a little bit better than White Magneto. I really do. I do not like White Magneto. I feel like the pre-fight's pretty good, but as a character that you use, not the biggest fan of White Magneto. I think that Punisher 29 is pretty good. He was one of the worst champions in the game offensively prior to this. He had like a bit of utility, like the power control, but he just hit so soft that it made him unusable. So now he hits pretty hard, man, and he has that nice utility that does come in handy in certain situations. He's not going to be your go-to champion, but he will be fun to mess around with. Yeah, man, that's going to be it for this video. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, drop your boy a like. Comment what you think about the Punisher 2099 buff in the comment section below. Is it making you excited for future buffs? I know I'm personally very excited to find out who's coming next. Subscribe if you want to see some more content coming to you very, very soon. I'll be seeing you around.